All right, we are live in both places. Top of the day, beautiful people. Top of the day. That's wobble. That's wobble. It just says here, y'all. Whew. Hold on, let me fix this real quick before I start running my mouth. Hold on, let me pull this up. Y'all, I could barely go to sleep last night with all the hardback book that came in the mail for me. I need to find my place real quick, so I'm ready to go. Okay. Boom. Alright, we got that situated. Okay, here we go. Okay, yeah, y'all. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you something. Remember how yesterday I told y'all when I'm reading stuff or I find like new scrolls and it's like I'm like a kid in the candy store? Man, I did so much reading yesterday. Oh my gosh, I didn't think I was ever gonna fall asleep. I even got in the hold on, let me show you. Let me show you how thick this book is. Almost as thick as this Sephora. Hold on. Put that right there. I got it right here. Hold on. Right here. Although I don't agree with the color of the people on the front, but still, it's information there. Just all of that, just remember that's like a boogeyman at the door. That's a guard standing at the door to keep some people out, right? But I'm telling you, as y'all as my witness, and as sure as I was born black and I was born a female, this in here, everything written in here is holy scripture. Man, I'm gonna read y'all a portion out of this today, right? We gotta start reading some of this stuff. Listen, if you don't want to stay to listen to it and you gotta go, look, you can always come back and listen to it later, but I'm telling you, it gives more detail on creation, what happened on the days. Remember, you thought Jasher gave you a lot of detail. This gives you even more detail, and as I began to read it, I began to think about some of the things that I've heard growing up all my life. Thinking about some of the movies and stuff that they got out, even some of the I guess they'll label some of them like science fiction, or they won't label it like true, and they won't even tell you where they got it from. But if you've read this, you can clearly see that there's a whole slew of movies out here in the entertainment industry that they have taken from the lives and the history of Yahuwah's people and what has happened since creation. Like seriously, y'all, I'm up like this. I'm like, I was reading it so fast. I'm like, Father, and look, I even paused yesterday laughing at myself. I'm like, Father, is there a way you can just take all of this and just download it into me? Just save me the time of sitting here and reading it, because I still got to go cook dinner and stuff, right? So I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm just like, what? Oh my gosh, that makes sense. Oh my God. Like seriously, y'all should have seen me yesterday. Y'all should have seen me yesterday. And I was listening to a couple of the pieces that a few people had read from this, and even that caught my attention. I shared one of them with y'all from yesterday. There is a couple more that I listened to, give you more details. For one, about this earth, some of the events that happened. Y'all think things happen in the New Testament. New Testament ain't got nothing on all the stuff that they did not include back here. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. And so real quick before I start, I'm going to give you like a little preface of what the guy said. So the gentleman who translated this, he's read a lot of the different accounts from different nations who has a copy of this. You know, for some of the older manuscripts even found in Ethiopia, right? So he took them, and he wrote this. He put them together. I think this was like 1909. Yeah, first published in 1909, but he had been working on it for years, going through the different accounts and stuff, and he said a lot of the accounts, whether it was in Ethiopia or in India or all the different places where he just happened to get a copy of it, things that were under lock and key, he was a great teacher, so he had access to a lot of these things. Oh my gosh, Father bless him and his lineage for this right here. But he took all of them and he compared them, and the things that he noticed that they had common, he said there was a lot of stuff in common, and he knew that stuff to be the truth. He said, but other things that he couldn't verify from some of the other scrolls he did not include. But apparently all of these ones that he has went over and he has compared all the stuff in here and everything in here. He said all of this stuff was found consistent in most of the ones he found, but a lot of the stuff that was found consistent in these scrolls that we don't have here in the Americas, at least, that are accessible to us, in previous times, other countries had it in their holy text, and it was all consistent. So all of those consistent things he added in here. But all of those consistent things, like I said, I heard different things growing up. I'm like, wait a minute, but where do you find that? What are you talking about? Where's that found? I don't see that in the Bible anywhere. Although that sounds amazing, where do I find that at? So all of these, that's why yesterday I'm just like, my face was glued to this book from the time, and it was a Sunday. They delivered, Amazon delivered on Sunday. From the time that box hit my front door steps and I opened and realized what it was, I'm telling you, we're going to read a little portion from first day. Since we started the book of Enoch tomorrow, this arrived right on time, so we can follow along, and we'll go through the different accounts. Hold on, I got to sit this down so this thing heavy. Okay. So as we start Enoch, and even today, I'm going to read a little portion today because it's only 2 chapters left in Genesis. We're going to read the 2 chapters in Genesis and the one corresponding, a portion of it in Jasher. Then we're going to jump to this right here, and I'm going to read you something that happened on the first day and how it describes this place we live at today called the earth. Bruh. Listen, I'm so excited about that. Okay, let me get started because I know some of y'all got to go to work. Okay, happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. It is December the 7th, 2020, day 17 of year 3 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets, and of the 3-year consecutive day count, it is day 686. Today we are reading Genesis, the last 2 chapters of Genesis 49 and 50, and we're going to read a portion that corresponds with that from Jasher chapter 56. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and get started, y'all. I know I say that every day, but I truly am super excited about the words of y'all. And when I discover something, I be so excited to share it with everybody, but everybody don't be want to be hearing it for real. I'm just like, how would you not want to hear the living words of our Creator? Okay, all right, y'all. Okay, Genesis 49. Then Jacob called together all his sons and said, gather around me, and I will tell you what will happen to each of you in the days to come. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me finish. When I read this, my mind is so expanded just from yesterday, understanding some of this stuff, guys. Okay, I'm going to try not to cut myself. I'm going to just read through this because we're going to get to this. If y'all can order a copy of that, get it. They only have like a few more hardbacks in stock. I don't know if they're going to restock, but if you don't get it there, download the Kindle. They may have the full thing downloaded, where you can download it, but I know they have it chopped up into volumes too. If you can get the whole thing, the Legends of the Jews. Remember, legend. Think about the word. The word legend. Legend can mean a lot of different things, but legend in regards to this means the story of the Jews, or the stories of the people of the book, y'all. Okay, so don't let that title throw you off. That's what I'm saying. It's like a gatekeeper for those who don't understand it. In the English language, it means multiple things, and a lot of time when we hear the word legend, we think about Greek mythology, and so our mind goes there like, oh, these are just fictional stories. No. Okay. It originates from a Latin word, and it doesn't just mean, fictional stories. Look that up. Okay. And Jacob called together all his sons and said, gather around me, and I will tell you what will happen to each of you in the days to come. Come and listen, you sons of Jacob. Listen to Israel, your father. I know, Tiffany, I'm trying to stay focused. Okay, I know y'all got to go to work. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my strength, the child of my vigorous youth. You are first in rank and first in power, but you are as unruly as a flood, and you will no longer be first. For you went to bed with my wife. You defiled my marriage couch. Simeon and Levi are 2 of a kind. Their weapons are instruments of violence. May I never join in their meetings. May I never be party to their plans. For in their anger they murdered men, and they crippled oxen just for sport. A curse on their anger, for it is fierce. A curse on their wrath, for it is cruel. I will scatter them among the descendants of Jacob. I will disperse them throughout Israel. Judah, Your brothers will praise you. You will grasp your enemies by the neck. All your relatives will bow before you. Judah, my son, is a young lion that has finished eating its prey. Like a lion, he crouches and lies down. Like a lioness, who dares to rouse him? The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from his descendants, until the coming of the one to whom it belongs, the one whom all the nations will honor. He ties his foal to a grapevine, the coat of his donkey to a choice vine. He washes his clothes in wine, his robes in the blood of grapes. His eyes are darker than wine, and his teeth are whiter than milk. Zebulun will settle by the seashore and will be a harbor for ships. His borders will extend to Sidon. Issachar is a sturdy donkey, resting between two saddle packs. When he sees how good the countryside is and how pleasant the land, he will bend his shoulder to the load and submit himself to hard labor. Dan will govern his people like any other tribe in Israel. Dan will be a snake beside the road, a poisonous viper along the path that bites the horse's hooves so its riders are thrown off. I trust in you for salvation, O Yahuwah. Gad will be attacked by marauding bands, but he will attack them when they retreat. Asher would dine on rich foods and produce food fit for kings. Naphtali is a doe set free that bears beautiful fawns. Joseph is the foal of a wild donkey, the foal of a wild donkey at a spring, one of the wild donkeys on the ridge. Archers attacked him savagely. They shot at him and harassed him, but his bow remained taut and his arms were strengthened by the hands of the mighty one of Jacob, by the shepherd, the rock of Israel. May Yahuwah, the God of your father, help you. May the Almighty bless you with the blessings of the heavens above and the blessing of the watery depths below, the blessing of the breast and the womb. May my fatherly blessings on you surpass the blessings of my ancestors, reaching to the heights of the eternal hills. May these blessings rest on the head of Joseph, who is a prince among his brothers. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf, devouring his enemies in the morning and dividing his plunder in the evening. These are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is what their father said as he told his sons goodbye. He blessed each one with an appropriate message. Then Jacob instructed them, soon I will die and join my ancestors. Bury me with my father and grandfather in a cave in the field of Ephron the Hittite. This is the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre in Canaan that Abraham bought from Ephron the Hittite as a permanent burial site. Okay, so remember this is the same cave of a portion of which Esau himself had. But remember when he was running in fear for his life from Nimrod, thought he was going to die that day, he sold all his stuff to his brother Joseph, right? Remember I told y'all, remember this? Okay, remember this same cave, all right? And we're going to find out today what's about to go down. There Abraham and his wife Sarah are buried. There Isaac and his wife Rebekah are buried. There I buried Leah. It is the plot of land and the cave that my grandfather Abraham bought from the Hittites. When Jacob had finished this charge to his sons, he drew his feet into the bed, breathed his last, and joined his ancestors in death. Okay, y'all. Genesis chapter 50. Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. Then Joseph told the physicians who served him to embalm his father's body. So Jacob was embalmed. The embalming process took the usual 40 days, and the Egyptians mourned his death for 70 days. When the period of mourning was over, Joseph approached Pharaoh's advisors and said, please do me this favor and speak to Pharaoh on my behalf. Tell him that my father made me swear an oath. He said to me, listen, I'm about to die. Take my body back to the land of Canaan and bury me in the tomb I prepared for myself. So please allow me to go and bury my father. After his burial, I will return without delay. Pharaoh agreed to Joseph's request. Go and bury your father as he made you promise, he said. So Joseph went up to bury his father. He was accompanied by all of Pharaoh's officials, all the senior members of Pharaoh's household, and all the senior officers of Egypt. Joseph also took his entire household and his brothers and their households, but they left their little ones and flocks and herds in the land of Goshen. A great number of chariots and charioteers accompanied Joseph. When they arrived at the threshing floor of Atad near the Jordan River, they held a very great solemn memorial service with a 7-day period of mourning for Joseph's father. The local residents, the Canaanites, watched them mourning at the threshing floor of Atad. Now, this right here, during the 7-day period of mourning, is where the story is going to pick up in Jasher, y'all. And it's going to give you details of everything that went down right here when all these regions got to fighting over this dead body, bruh. Okay. The local residents, the Canaanites, watched them mourning at the threshing floor of Atad. Then they renamed that place, which is near Jordan, Abel Mizraim, for they said, "This is the place of deep mourning for these Egyptians." So Jacob's son did as they had commanded them. They carried his body to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave at the field of Machpelah near Mamre. This is the cave that Abraham had bought as a permanent burial site from Ephron the Hittite. After burying Jacob, Joseph returned to Egypt with his brothers and all who had accompanied his father's burial. But now that their father was dead, Joseph's brothers became fearful. "Now Joseph will show his anger and pay us back for all the wrong we did to him," they said. So they sent this message to Joseph: "Before your father died, he instructed us to say to you, 'Please forgive your brothers for the great wrong they did to you, for their sin in treating you so cruelly. So we, the servants of the God of your father, beg you to forgive our sin.'" When Joseph received the message, he broke down and wept. Then his brothers came and threw themselves down before Joseph. "Look, we are your slaves," they said. But Joseph replied, "Don't be afraid of me. Am I God that I can punish you? You intended to harm me, but Yahuwah intended it all for good. He brought me to this position so I can save the lives of many people. No, don't be afraid. I will continue to take care of you and your children." So he reassured them by speaking kindly to them. So Joseph and his brothers and their families continued to live in Egypt. Joseph lived to the age of 110. He lived to see the 3 generations of descendants of his son Ephraim, and he lived to see the birth of the children of Manasseh's son Machir, whom he claimed as his own. "Soon I will die," Joseph told his brothers, "but Yahuwah will surely come to help you and lead you out of this land of Egypt. He will bring you back to the land he solemnly promised to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob." Then Joseph made the sons of Israel swear an oath, and he said, "When Yahuwah comes to help you and lead you back, you must take my bones with you." So Joseph died at the age of 110. The Egyptians embalmed him, and his body was placed in a coffin in Egypt. Now, sometimes I used to wonder how they knew all of this stuff. Clearly, Yahuwah told them, but a lot of this stuff was common knowledge, and the gifts that they had working that they knew were an inheritance to them. They freely flowed in them, so they could tell them what was coming in the days ahead. Even after I died, this is going to happen. Boom, 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 boom. Guys, okay. So let's jump over here to Jasher 56. And as you all get more familiar with the story and what happened, as you read some of these corresponding accounts from different versions, you'll be able to see the bigger picture, put everything together, right? But you have to, I don't even think I'd be at this point if I didn't read this as much as I did, because I wouldn't be able to connect any other points. If I was just doing what I used to do, just casually reading my Bible, I'll just, I can tell you a story here, Daniel and the lion's den, rose from the grave. I could tell you some of that stuff, but I didn't understand the details like I understand the details today, and how it connects in all these other books that are coming across my path, things that are a part of this entire story, but we're not canonized and get into the masses. It's like they took our story and they split it up, and like we were scattered to the 4 corners of the earth, so was our story, and everything happened was split up and scattered to the 4 corners of the earth. And this country has this piece here, and this country has this piece here, and you can see how they are developing in their wisdom and stuff with the piece that they have. All of the pieces belong and is an inheritance for the sons and daughters of Jacob, but they're teaching the sons and daughters of Jacob, oh, stay away from that. That's taboo. You don't want to do that. Yet, while they keep on doing that, we just need to keep them in the dark about this. Yes, may the Father accept us in their place. Oh, man, I'm telling y'all got to read this. Okay, so Jasher chapter 56. And then after today, when we start in Enoch, we're going to leave Jasher for a little while, and we're going to read some, Yeah, for a little bit we want to leave Jasher, but then we're going to come back to Jasher when we go into Exodus, which we're going to pick up after we read the book of Enoch. But Enoch is so full of stuff in itself. It's just going to blow your mind if you haven't read it. Okay. 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 Jasher chapter 56. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years, and the days of Jacob and the years of his life were 147 years. At that time, Jacob was attacked with an illness, of which he died, and sent and called his son Joseph from Egypt. And Joseph, his son, came from Egypt and came unto his father. And Jacob said unto Joseph and unto his sons, Behold, I die, and the God of your ancestors will visit you and bring you back to the land which Yahuwah swore to give unto you and unto your children after you. Now therefore, when I am dead, bury me in the cave which is in Machpelah in Hebron in the land of Canaan near my ancestors. Even Jacob and Joseph knew that they would be leaving this land, and when they leave, take our bones back. You know, they both, Jacob and Joseph, say the same thing. Take our bones out of this place. And Jacob made his son swear to bury him in Machpelah in Hebron, and his son swore unto him concerning this thing. And he commanded them, saying, Serve Yahuwah Elohim, for he has delivered your fathers. He will also deliver you from, serve Yahuwah Elohim, for he who delivered your fathers will also deliver you from all trouble. And Jacob said, Call your children unto me. And all the children of Jacob's sons came and sat before him, and Jacob blessed them. And he said unto them, Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers shall grant you 1,000 times as much, and bless you, and may he give you the blessing of your father Abraham. And all the children of Jacob's sons went forth on that day after he had blessed them. And on the next day Jacob again called for his sons, and they all assembled and came to him and sat before him. And Jacob on that day blessed his sons before his death. Each man did he bless according to his blessing. Behold, it is written in the Sefer of the Torah of Yahuwah appertaining to Israel. And Jacob said unto Judah, I know, my son, that you are a mighty man for your brethren. Reign over them, and your sons shall reign over their sons forever. This is a portion of the blessing that we didn't see in the Bible, y'all. He's blessing them a second time. Listen to the details of this. I'll read that again. What he says, what is written, behold, it is written in the Sefer of the Torah of Yahuwah appertaining to Israel. And Jacob said unto Judah, I know, my son, that you are a mighty man for your brethren. Reign over them, and your sons shall reign over their sons forever. Only teach your sons the bow and all the weapons of war, in order that they may fight the battles of their brother, who will rule over their enemies. And Jacob again commanded his sons on that day, saying, Behold, I shall be this day gathered unto my people. Carry me up from Egypt, and bury me in the cave of Machpelah, as I have commanded you. Howbeit, take heed, I pray you, that none of your sons carry me, only yourselves. And this is the manner you shall do unto me. When you carry my body, go with it to the land of Canaan to bury me. Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun, you shall carry my coffin at the eastern side. Reuben, Simeon, and Gad at the south. Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin at the west. Dan, Asher, and Naphtali at the north. Let not Levi carry with you, for he and his sons will carry the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah with Israel in the camp. Neither let Joseph my son carry, Neither let Joseph my son carry, for as a king, so let his glory be. Howbeit, Ephraim and Manasseh shall be in their stead. Thus shall you do unto me when you carry me away. Do not neglect anything of all that I command you, and it shall come to pass that when you do this unto me, that Yahuwah will remember you favorably and your children after you. So remember, Levi and Joseph, they didn't carry Jacob's coffin, but I'm getting that. Make sure I'm getting the names mixed up. But Joseph's two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, stood in the place of Levi and Joseph while they were carrying the coffin of their father. Okay, because it said Levi would carry the Ark of the Covenant, and Joseph was king, so let him move in his place as the king among the people. Okay. And you, my sons, honor each his brother and his relative, and command your children and your children's children after you to serve Yahuwah of all your ancestors all the days, in order that you may prolong your days in the land, you and your children and all your children's children forever. When you do what is good and upright in the sight of Yahuwah Elohim, to go in all of his ways. Remember, Elohim, I believe it's your God, Yahuwah, your God. And you, Joseph, my son, forgive, I pray you, the wrongs of your brethren, all their misdeeds, and the injury that they heaped upon you. For Yahuwah intended it for you and your children's benefit. And, O my son, leave not your brethren to the inhabitants of Egypt, neither hurt their feelings. For behold, I consign them to the hand of Yahuwah, and in your hand to guard them from Egypt. And the sons of Jacob answered their father, saying, O Father, all that you have commanded us, so we will do. May Yahuwah only be with us. So we know that Jacob actually did tell his sons this. He told, blessings, Natasha. He actually told his sons, in the presence of in the presence of Joseph, don't come back and get them for what they did to you. Yahuwah did this so that all of you all would be saved at a future time. So Jacob really did say this, but when we read it in the regular Bible, to me, it always seemed like, okay, it didn't say anywhere where Jacob actually said this. So maybe they're saying this to Joseph just in case he might try and come and get them. Look, when our father was still alive, he told us to tell you. That's what it seemed like until we read the expanded story, where when he called them in a second time to bless them, where he actually said that in the presence of all of them. So when they said it in the regular Bible, the brothers was just reminding him of what their father said in their presence. Okay, just in case you missed it. Now read it again. And you, Joseph, my son, forgive, I pray you, all the wrongs of your brethren and all their misdeeds and the injury that they heaped upon you, for Yahuwah intended it for you and your children's benefit. And, O my son, leave not your brethren to the inhabitants of Egypt, neither hurt their feelings. For behold, I consign them to the hand of Yahuwah, and in your hand to guard them from the Egyptians. And the sons of Jacob answered their father, saying, O our father, all that you have commanded us, so will we do. May Yahuwah only be with us. And Jacob said unto his sons, so may Yahuwah be with you when you guard all his ways. Turn not from either to the left or to the right, in performing what is good and upright in his sight. For I know that many and grievous troubles will befall you in the latter days in the land. Yea, your children and children's children only serve Yahuwah, and he will save you from all trouble. And it came to pass, when you shall go after Yahuwah to serve him, and will teach your children after you, and your children's children to know Yahuwah, then will Yahuwah raise up unto you and your children a servant from amongst your children, and Yahuwah will deliver you through his hand from all affliction, and bring you out of Mitzrayim, or out of Egypt, and bring you back to the land of your fathers to inherit it securely. So remember, even here, he said Yahuwah is going to raise up a deliverer, a servant from amongst your people, from amongst your children, meaning this deliverer is going to come from you, your people. And we all know that that person is Moses. Although Moses did not grow up with them, he is from among their people. He raised them up. He took them aside and he saved them. He actually hid him in the presence, in plain sight, in Pharaoh's house. The very people who were killing him, they were raising the deliverer in the presence of their own kingdom, keeping them safe without even knowing that he himself would be the deliverer of the people that they were currently lording over. Well, they're not lording over them yet. After Joseph dies, y'all know the story. Okay. And Jacob ceased, commanding his sons, and he drew his feet to the bed, and he died and was gathered to his people. And Joseph fell upon his father, and he cried out and wept over him and kissed him, and called out in a bitter voice, and he said, "Oh, my father, my father." And his sons, women, and all his household came and fell upon Jacob, and they wept over him and cried a very loud cry concerning Jacob. And all the sons of Jacob rose up together, and they tore their garments, and they all put sackcloth upon their loins, and they fell upon their faces, and cast dust upon their heads toward the heavens. And the thing was told unto Asenath, Joseph's woman, and she rose up and put on sackcloth. And she and all the Egyptian women with her came and mourned and wept for Jacob. And also all the people of Egypt who knew Jacob came all on that day when they heard this thing, and all of Egypt wept for many days. And also from the land of Canaan did the women come unto Egypt when they heard that Jacob was dead, and they wept for him in Mitzrayim for 70 days. And it came to pass after this that Joseph commanded his servants and the doctors to embalm his father with myrrh and frankincense and all the manner of incense of perfume. And the doctors embalmed Jacob as Joseph had commanded them. And all the people of Egypt and all the elders and all the inhabitants of the land of Goshen wept and mourned over Jacob and all his sons, and the children of his household lamented and mourned over their father Jacob many days. So remember, y'all, this is giving us the same time period, the 40 days of the bowman, and a total 70 days of mourning within Egypt. When they leave out of there, they're going to hold a memorial for 7 days of mourning for the surrounding countries who were not able to come to Egypt, so they can meet up there during this 7-day period of mourning. Here we're about to get into it about what's about to happen. And after the days of his weeping had passed away, at the end of 70 days, Joseph said unto Pharaoh, I will go up and bury my father in the land of Canaan, as he made me swear, and then I will return. And Pharaoh sent Joseph, saying, Go up and bury your father, as he has said, and made you swear. And Joseph rose up with all his brethren to go to the land of Canaan to bury their father Jacob, as he commanded them. And Pharaoh commanded that it should be proclaimed throughout Egypt, saying, Whoever goes not up with Joseph and his brethren to the land of Canaan to bury Jacob shall die. And all of Egypt heard of Pharaoh's proclamation. They all rose up together, and all the servants of Pharaoh, and all the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt went up with Joseph, and all the officers and nobles of Pharaoh went up as the servants of Joseph, and they went to bury Jacob in the land of Canaan. What great honor, right? And the sons of Jacob carried the coffin up which he lay, according to all that their father commanded them. So did his sons unto him. And the coffin was of pure gold, and it was inlaid round about with onyx stones and bdellium. And the covering of the coffin was gold woven work joined with threads, and over them were hooks of onyx stones and bdellium. And Joseph placed upon the head of his father Jacob a large golden crown, and he put a golden scepter in his hand. And they surrounded the coffin, as was the custom of kings during their lives. And all the troops of Egypt went before him in this array. At first all the mighty men of Pharaoh and the mighty men of Joseph, and after them the rest of the inhabitants of Egypt. And they were all girded with swords and equipped with coats of mail, and the trappings of war were upon them. And all the weepers and mourners went at a distance opposite to the coffin, going and weeping and lamenting, and the rest of the people went after the coffin. And Joseph and his household went together near the coffin, barefooted and weeping, and the rest of Joseph's servants went around him. Each man had his ornaments upon him, and they were all armed with their weapons of war. And 50 of Jacob's servants went in front of the coffin, and they strewed along the road myrrh and aloes and all manner of perfume. And all the sons of Jacob that carried the coffin walked upon the perfumery, and the servants of Jacob went before them, streaming the perfume along the road. And Jacob went up with a heavy camp, and they did this after the manner every day until they reached the land of Canaan. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which was on the other side of Jordan. And they mourned an exceedingly great and heavy mourning in that place. And all the kings of Canaan heard of this thing, and they all went forth, each man from his house, 31 kings of Canaan. And they all came with their men to mourn and weep over Jacob. And all these kings beheld Jacob's coffin, and behold, Jacob's crown was upon it. And they also put their crowns upon the coffin, and encircled it with crowns. And all these kings made that place a great and heavy mourning with the sons of Jacob, and the Egyptians over Jacob. And all the kings of Canaan knew the valor of Jacob and his sons. And the report reached Esau. Pay attention now, y'all. If y'all weren't paying attention before, remember this. Remember everything that we learned. The fight between Esau and Jacob as it was growing up, and everything that was written out when he handed over his birthrights. He did it in the presence of witnesses. It wasn't just Esau and Jacob. They had witnesses. Remember, it was signed, sealed, and it was kept by Jacob, right? And the witnesses were there, and they witnessed everything, signed, right? Okay, remember all that. And the report reached Esau. Remember, Esau is Jacob's brother. He's about to learn that his brother has passed away. And the report reached Esau, saying, Jacob died in Egypt, and his sons and all of the Egyptians are conveying him to the land of Canaan to bury him. And Esau heard this thing, and he was dwelling in Mount Seir, and he rose up with his sons and all his people and all his household, a people exceedingly great, and they came to mourn and weep over Jacob. And it came to pass, when Esau came, he mourned for his brother Jacob, and all of Egypt and all of Canaan again rose up and mourned a great mourning with Esau over Jacob in that place. And Joseph and his brethren brought their father Jacob from that place, and they went to Hebron to bury Jacob in the cave by his fathers. And they came unto Kiriath Arba to the cave, and as they came, Esau stood with his sons against Joseph and his brethren as a hindrance into the cave. And listen to the shenanigans that's about to go down, y'all. Listen. And they came unto Kiriath Arba to the cave, and as they came, Esau stood with his sons against Joseph and his brethren as a hindrance to the cave, saying, Jacob shall not be buried therein, for it belongs to us and our father. And Joseph and his brethren heard the words of Esau's sons, and they were exceedingly wroth. And Joseph approached unto Esau, saying, What is this thing which they have spoken? Surely my father Jacob bought it from you for great riches after the death of Isaac, now 25 years ago, and also all the land of Canaan he bought from you and from your sons and your seed after you. And Jacob bought it for his sons and his seed after him for an inheritance forever. Why speak you these things this day? And Esau answered, saying, You speak falsely and utter lies. For I sold not anything belonging to me in all this land, as you say, neither did my brother Jacob buy anything belonging to me in this land. Now, we all know Esau lying through his teeth right now, right? We know he lied. We was all there when he sold it, right? We read the story. He sold it. He thought he was going to die. He sold him everything, including this cave that they about to bury his dead body in, right? Let me read that again. And Esau answered, saying, You speak falsely and utter lies. For I sold not anything belonging to me in all this land, as you say, neither did my brother Jacob buy anything belonging to me in this land. And Esau spoke these things in order to deceive Joseph with his words. For Esau knew that Joseph was not present in those days when Esau sold all belonging to him in the land of Canaan to Jacob. And Joseph said unto Esau, Surely my father inserted these things with you in a record of purchase. Like, ooh, we realized he kept this record this long, right? I got my daddy's records. What? Listen. And Joseph said unto Esau, Surely my father inserted these things with you in the record of purchase, and testified the record with witnesses, and behold, it is with us in Egypt. His breath should have left his body at that moment. You just lied to the king, bruh. Okay. And Esau answered, saying unto him, Bring the record, all that you will find in the record, so we will do. And Joseph called unto Naphtali his brother, and he said, Hasten quickly, stay not, and run, I pray you, unto Egypt, and bring all the records of the purchase, the sealed record, and the open record, and also all the first records in which the transactions of the birthrights are written. That y'all know what he called Naphtali, right? Remember, Naphtali, he runs as swift as a stag. They said this bull could run over wheat and not even break a head of it. That's how fast he was. But he had not to go get them records. And you shall bring them unto us hither, that we may know from them all the words of Esau and his sons, which they spoke this day. And Naphtali hearkened to the voice of Joseph. And he hastened and ran down to Egypt. And Naphtali was lighter on foot than any of the stags that were upon the wilderness, for he would go upon ears of grain without crushing them. And when Esau saw that Naphtali had gone to fetch the records, he and his sons increased their resistance against the cave. And Esau and all his people rose up against Joseph and his brethren to battle. And all the sons of Jacob and the people of Mitzrayim of Egypt fought with Esau and his men. And the sons of Esau and his people were smitten before the sons of Jacob. And the sons of Jacob slew Esau's people 40 men. And Husham, the son of Dan, the son of Jacob, was at that time with Jacob's sons, but he was about 100 cubits distant from the place of battle, for he remained with the children of Jacob's sons by Jacob's coffin to guard it. And Husham was dumb and deaf, but still he understood the voice of consternation among men. Listen to this, y'all. And he hearkened, saying, why do you not bury the dead? And what is this great consternation? And they answered him the words of Esau and his sons. And he ran to Esau in the midst of the battle, and he slew Esau with a sword, and he cut off his head, and it sprang in the distance, and Esau fell amongst the people, and Esau fell amongst the people of the battle. And when Husham did this thing, the sons of Jacob prevailed over the sons of Esau, and the sons of Jacob buried their father Jacob by force in the cave, and the sons of Esau beheld it. And Jacob was buried in the cave of Hebron, in the cave of Machpelah, which Abraham had bought from the sons of Heth for the possession of a burial place. And he was buried in very costly garments, and no king had such honor paid him as Joseph paid unto his father at his death, for he buried him with great honor, like unto the burial of kings. And Joseph and his brethren made a mourning of 7 days for their father. And if you want to keep reading on into 57, it gives you just a little bit more detail and everything. But just real quick, Esau's body laid there for days unburied, and when they took the body back, they did not take the head with it, So, but if you want to read the rest of that, go ahead. Be my guest, go ahead and read it. But let me hop in over to the place that I was telling y'all about from the beginning, and give y'all a few more details of what happened on the first day when Yahuwah created the heavens and the earth, right? Okay, y'all. So remember, we'll be starting the book of Enoch tomorrow, but I gotta give y'all some of these details in here today. All right, y'all. I highlight up a bunch of stuff. Look, y'all, this tell you what the fruit was that they ate in the garden. It give you details of what it was that Ham did to Noah when Noah was laying drunk in his tent. I'm like, oh, how could we not see that? It says that how could we not see that? You still reading the introduction. I said, okay, keep reading. Okay. All right, y'all. So let's hop in here to the first day. Okay, just listen, y'all. Okay, so before this, it gives some other stuff, and it says, I want to read all of it, but I can't read all of it. When you start here, it gives more detail before Yahuwah created the heavens and the earth, and how he's talking to Torah and refers to Torah as she, right? So there's a conversation that goes on, and it tells you how Yahuwah took counsel with the Torah, right? And it gives detail into all that stuff, and y'all got to get it. But I want to hop right over here to the first day, right? It's all so good. Okay, listen. The first day. On the first day of creation, Yahuwah produced 10 things, the heavens and the earth, tohu and bohu, light and darkness, wind and water, the duration of the day and the duration of the night. Remember, everything that is in here has been found to be consistent with all the scrolls and manuscripts from a bunch of different nations where they've been scattered to. So everything that was alike, that they had the same stories, is combined into this, right? This is like 488 pages, and then actually the whole book is like 500. It's like 500 something pages, y'all. But it goes into the detail. Like, he pulled all the information and put it in here, but all of this information we do not have in the Bible. Some of it is definitely in the Apocrypha. It has a lot of the stuff in Jubilees, Jasher, and Enoch, but it goes into deeper detail. Like I said, what we have, the canonized 66 books of the Bible, is it's like Cliff Notes. But it's enough to save your soul. It really is. It's enough to save your soul and lead you to Yah. It's enough to lead you back to Him. But as you were back to Him, if you want to reveal more, He'll start bringing these books unto you. Just like it tells us in Jubilees that in those days, these books will start being uncovered for the wise and those who are seeking. And He said they're going to love them and they're going to cherish them. I'm like, yes, that's me. That's me. It's talking about me. Okay. All right. Listen. Okay. Calm down. First day. On the first day of creation, Yahuwah produced 10 things, the heavens and the earth, tohu and bohu, light and darkness, wind and water, the duration of the day and the duration of the night. Though the heavens and earth consist entirely hold on. Though the heavens and the earth consist entirely different elements, they were yet created as a unit, like the pot and its cover. Get it? Y'all got it? That's cool the way they explain that, right? The heavens and the earth were created just like a unit, like a pot and its cover, right? A pot and its cover. Okay, that blew my mind. Though the heavens and the earth consist entirely different elements, they were yet created as a unit, like the pot and its cover. The heavens were fashioned from the light of Yahuwah's garment, and the earth from the snow under the divine throne. Tohu, listen y'all, Tohu is a green band which encompasses the whole world and dispenses darkness, and Bohu consists of stones in the abyss, the producers of the waters. The light created, listen to this. The light created at the very beginning is not the same as the light emitted by the sun, the moon, and the stars, which appeared only on the fourth day, right? Remember, it says that, you go back and read Genesis, sun, moon, and stars, they weren't created to the fourth day, but there was light. There was light in the earth. It's a different kind of light. The Bible tells us that if you're paying attention, you can clearly see it. Okay. The light created at the very beginning is not the same as the light emitted by the sun, the moon, and the stars, which appeared only on the fourth day. The light of the first day was a sort that would have enabled man to see the world at a glance from one end to the other, anticipating the wickedness of the sinful generations of the deluge and the Tower of Babel, who were unworthy to enjoy the blessing of such light. Yahuwah concealed it, but in the world to come it will appear to the pious in all its pristine glory. Several heavens were created, 7 in fact, each to serve a purpose of its own. So here's one of the things where I said, I heard this one, that there are 7 heavens. And I'm sure a lot of you heard that even in church or whatever, they talk about the different realms of heaven and stuff. Okay, this is going to explain that. Listen to this. Several heavens were created, 7 in fact, each to serve a purpose of its own. The first, the one visible to man, here, what we can see, this is the one visible to us in the sky, where the birds fly through and we see the clouds. That's the first heaven, which is visible to man. The first one, visible to man, has no function except that of covering up the light during the nighttime. Therefore, it disappears every morning. The planets are fastened to the second of the heavens. In the third, the manna is made for the pious in the hereafter. The fourth contains the celestial Jerusalem, together with the temple in which Michael ministers as high priest and offers the souls of the pious as sacrifices. In the fifth heaven, the angel hosts reside and sing the praise of Yahuwah, though only during the night. For by day For by day it is the task of Israel on earth to give glory to Yahuwah on high. The sixth heaven is an uncanny spot. There originate most of the trials and visitations ordained for the earth and its inhabitants. Remember, think about people who has had visions and dreams, and they stood in the council of Yahuwah, or the courtrooms of heaven. Think about this, right? Think about this. Snow lies. Let me read that again, and I'll keep reading. The sixth heaven is an uncanny spot. There originate most of the trials and visitations ordained for the earth and its inhabitants. Snow lies heaped up there and held. There are lots full of noxious dew, magazines stocked with storms, and cellars holding reserves of smoke. Doors of fire separate these celestial chambers, which are under the supervision of the archangel Metatron. And we also hear some details about this in the book of Enoch. Y'all gonna hear Metatron again. That's the name of one of the archangel that he's also talked about in the book of Enoch, which we're gonna see starting tomorrow, y'all. Their pernicious contents defile the heavens until David's time. The pious king prayed Yahuwah to purge his exalted dwelling of whatever was pregnant with evil. It was not becoming that such things should exist near the merciful one. Only then they were removed to the earth. The seventh heaven, on the other hand, contains nothing but what is good and beautiful, right, justice, and mercy, the storehouses of life, peace, and blessing, the souls of the pious, the souls and spirits of unborn generations, the dew with which Yahuwah will revive the dead on the resurrection day, and above all, the divine throne surrounded by the seraphim, the Ophanim, the holy Hayat, and the ministering angels. Corresponding to the seven heavens, listen to this. Corresponding to the seven heavens, Yahuwah created seven earths, each separated from the next by 5 layers. Remember, earth is a flat plane, y'all. Earth is a flat plane. I know what they teach us in school, but they have only been teaching that the world is a globe for not that long. I remember when I was in school when they actually brought the globe into our classroom, right? So the world as a globe is like a recent invention and teaching, but before that, everybody understood and knew that we lived on a flat plane. The book of Enoch talks about it. Listen to this. This gives more detail on how this earth was built and how Yahuwah layered the earth, right? Listen. Corresponding to the seven heavens, Yahuwah created 7 earths, each separated from the next by 5 layers. While I'm reading this, I want y'all to think about how y'all seen some of these videos and stuff and people trying to dig down into the earth, and some of the videos say that they hear people screaming and they're trying to like dig down into hell, into other things. Pay attention. I'm like, oh, that's what they digging for. They trying to verify some of this stuff that's here that they know is here. Even the astronauts, when they're going into outer space or whatever, they know that there's water above us. So that's why the astronauts, a lot of times they train underwater, right? If y'all know anything about them training. Okay. Corresponding to the 7 heavens, Yahuwah created 7 earths, each separated from the next by 5 layers. Over the lowest earth, the 7th, called Erez, lie in succession the abyss, the Tohu, the Bohu, a sea and waters. Then the 6th earth is reached, the Adamah, the scene of the magnificent God. In the same way, the Adamah is separated from the 5th earth, the Arka, which contains Gehenna, the Sha'ari Mawet, and the Sha'ari Zalmawet. I don't know what these are, y'all. And the Bir Shat and the Tirha Yahweh. I'm going to find out and I'll let y'all know. And Abaddon and Sheol, and there the souls of the wicked are guarded by the angels of destruction. In the same way, Arka is followed by Harabah, the dry, the place of brooks and streams, in spite of its name, as the next called Yabashah. The mainland contains the rivers and the springs. Tebel, the 2nd earth, is the first mainland inhabited by living creatures, 365 species, all essentially different from those of our own earth. Some have human heads set on the body of a lion or a serpent or an ox. Others have human bodies topped by the head of one of these animals. Besides, Tebel is inhabited by human beings with 2 heads and 4 hands and feet. In fact, with all their organs double, excepting only in the trunk. It happens sometimes that the parts of these double persons quarrel with each other, especially while eating and drinking, when each claims the best and largest portion for himself. This species of mankind is distinguished for great piety. Another difference between it and the inhabitants of our own earth. Our own earth is called Heled, Heled. And like the others, it is separated from the Tebo by an abyss, the Tohu, the Bohu, a sea and waters. Thus one earth rises above the other from the 1st to the 7th. So it said that the earth is in layers. And if you've seen pictures of people drawing the flat earth, they've actually kind of drawn it just like it says in here, but not with that much detail. But you can see that the earth is layered. It's like the 1st earth, the second earth, the third earth, all the way up to the seventh, in which we live on, And the heavens are labeled the same way, with the first being what we can see here all the way up to the seventh, right? Okay. Thus one earth rises above the other, from the first to the seventh, and over the seventh earth the heavens are vaulted from the first to the seventh, the last of them attached to the arm of Yah. The seven heavens form a unity, the seven kinds of earth form a unity, and the heavens and the earth together also form a unity. When Yahuwah made our present heavens and our present earth, the new heavens and a new earth were also brought forth. Yea, and the 196,000 worlds which Yahuwah created unto his own glory. It takes 500 years to walk from the earth to the heavens, and from one end of heaven to the other, and also from one heaven to the next. It takes the same length of time to travel from the east to the west, or from the south to the north. Of all this vast world, only 1/3 is inhabited. The other 2/3 is being equally divided between water and waste desert land. Beyond the inhabited parts of the east is paradise, with its 7 divisions, each assigned to the pious of a certain degree. The ocean is situated to the west, and it is dotted with island upon island, inhabited by many different people. Beyond it, in turn, are the boundless steppes, full of serpents and scorpions, and destitute of every sort of vegetation, whether herb or trees. To the north, there are the supplies of hellfire, of snow, hail, smoke, ice, darkness, and windstorms, and in that vicinity sojourn all sorts of devils, demons, and malign spirits. Their dwelling place is a great stretch of land, and it will take 500 years to traverse it. Beyond lies hell. To the south is a chamber containing the reserves of fire, the cave of smoke, and the forge of blasts and hurricanes. The book of Enoch talks about all this, y'all, if y'all haven't been there. Thus it comes that the wind blowing from the south brings heat and sultriness to the earth. Were it not for the angel Benaz, the winged, who keeps the south wind back with his pinions, the world would be consumed. Besides, the fury of its blast is tempered by the north wind, which always appears as moderator, whatever other wind may be blowing. In the east, the west, and the south, heaven and earth touch each other. But the north Yahuwah left unfinished, that any man who announced himself as a god might be set the task of supplying the deficiency and stand convicted as a pretender. The destruction of the earth was begun at the center with the foundation stone of the temple, the Eben Shettiah, for the Holy Land is at the central point of the surface of the earth. Jerusalem is at the central point of Palestine, and the temple is situated in the center of the holy city. In the sanctuary itself, the Hekal is the center, and the holy ark occupies the center of the Hekal, built on the foundation stone, which thus is at the center of the earth. Thence issued the first ray of light, piercing to the Holy Land, and from there illuminating the whole earth. The creation of the world, however, could not take place until Yahuwah had banished the ruler of the dark. Retire, Yahuwah said to him, for I desire to create the world by means of light. Only after the light had been fashioned, darkness arose, the light ruling in the sky, the darkness on the earth. The power of Yahuwah displayed itself not only in the creation of the world of things, but equally in the limitations which he imposed upon each. The heavens and the earth stretched themselves out in length and breadth, as though they aspired to infinitude, and it required the word of Yahuwah to call a halt to their encroachments. And that, my beautiful people, is more details on the first day of creation. All right, y'all. So that is our reading for today. I was super excited about it. We read the last 2 chapters of Genesis 49 and 50, and we read Jasher chapter 56. Remember, tomorrow we start in the book of Enoch, y'all, and we're going to read some of the corresponding manuscripts and stuff that we found that goes with that also talks about some of these same things, y'all. So that being said, let's go ahead and go to the blessing. It is Monday, December the 7th, 2020, day 17 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 686. All right, y'all, remember the first 21 verses of Numbers chapter 6 is the blessing. Not the blessing. The Nazarite vow. And the last few verses is the blessing. And it starts at verse 22. All right, y'all. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his son, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, May Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people, I love you, and I will see you bright and early in the morning, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.